What's the worst thing your child has ever learned in school? My 8-year-old daughter, Jessie, came home and announced that she was going to start using her left hand for everything because her teacher said that left-handed people are smarter. Mrs. Brown told the class that left-handed people use their brains more and are automatically more creative. She cited famous left-handers like Einstein and Da Vinci as evidence, then had all the right-handed people try to write with their left hand to unlock their hidden potential. Jessie became obsessed overnight, spending the entire weekend trying to write with her left hand, frustrated and in tears because her homework looked like scribbles, trying to eat left-handed, brushing her teeth left-handed. Even throwing a ball left-handed was a disaster. By Sunday night, she was sitting at the kitchen table in tears, trying to finish her math paper. Her left-handed writing was barely legible, the page covered in erasure marks from her shaky attempts. "Mom, why did God make me right-handed if that means I'm dumber?" she asked, her voice cracking. "I'm left-handed myself," and knew that was complete pseudoscientific nonsense. Handedness is just a physical preference, not an indicator of intelligence. I tried to explain to Jessie that being right-handed was perfectly normal and didn't make her less intelligent, but the damage was done. She had already internalized that she was somehow inferior. Monday morning, I walked into class with a stack of neuroscience papers printed by Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic, but Mrs. Brown wouldn't listen to reason. "She's left-handed and seems pretty smart," he said smugly. "I'm just trying to help these kids reach their full potential." That afternoon, I called the principal and found out I wasn't the first parent to complain. 3 other families had called because their kids were coming home upset, trying to force themselves to be left-handed. One mom told me her daughter had been secretly practicing left-handed writing for weeks, causing her hand to cramp. Another kid had called himself stupid because he couldn't get the hang of left-handed scissors. The principal scheduled a meeting for Wednesday, and Mrs. Brown walked in confidently with printouts of a questionable blog about left-brain myths. She clearly hadn't bothered to research real neuroscience. I was prepared. I had contacted my college roommate, now a neuropsychologist at Stanford. Dr. Sabrine Johnson joined the meeting via video call. "This is incredibly damaging," Dr. Johnson patiently explained that handedness is determined by brain lateralization, but it has no correlation to intelligence or creativity. "There is actually no definitive evidence that Einstein was left-handed," Dr. Johnson replied. "But even if he was, causation does not mean correlation. Some of the greatest minds in history were right-handed." The principal looked mortified as Dr. Johnson explained how these types of messages can create lasting self-esteem problems in children. By Friday, Mrs. Brown had to send a letter to all parents, explaining that handedness has nothing to do with intelligence or ability. A psychologist was called in for a meeting, explaining that all brains are extraordinary, regardless of which hand is dominant. Jessie went back to writing with her right hand, and slowly her confidence returned, but it took weeks of reassurance to undo the damage. Now she loves to tell people that brains are much more complex than which hand you prefer, and that being different does not mean you are better or worse. Mrs. Brown had to undergo mandatory training in child psychology and learn the real damage that false comparisons can do to developing minds. The best part, Jessie is now fascinated by real neuroscience and wants to be a brain doctor when she grows up.